Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem, where tonight I'll be breaking down last night's four-game NBA slate. As you know, it was a stack slate. This is where we take advantage of the point totals as well as the matchups, find the juiciest combinations of the two, and we stack this shit out of games. We game stack, we team stack. Some way we keep it correlated to that it can always work for us, and we can get those guys that we would normally roster on a 9, 10, 8 game slate. The beauty of the stacking, and it's something that I really break down in depth on the website, but I'm willing to go ahead and just give it to you right now. Okay, this is why stacking on these short slates is so important. Let's look at a 9, 10 game slate. Let's look at it. Okay, so you're a regular guy like me. You've got a wife, you've got children, you've got family, you've got responsibilities, you've got bills. You don't have 10, 20K in the bankroll on a 9-game slate to put in 150 different lineups, to run them in these advanced algorithms and optimizers and shit like that. You don't have the bankroll, or you may, I don't have the bankroll to make 150 lineups and cover just about every play that's going to go off on a given slate, on a 9-game slate. Well, the beauty of stacking on a short game slate is there's not too many plays that I can't pay for. On a 4-game slate, with my bankroll, my limited amount of money, there's nobody who I can't roster, especially if I stack a slate. I'm going to show you my very best DraftKings lineups. They're definitely going to be stacks, and I'm going to show you how I was able to get access to certain players that I probably would not have rostered had it been a larger slate. So, of course, the cash line is a little bit higher. The difference between first place and 100th place is a lot less, is a lot shorter. So if you stack a slate and you hit correctly on it, you can do what a lot of cats did in the sweatshop and make everybody else look up at the DFS sweatshop logo. That happened quite frequently tonight. So, like I said, I don't issue out a core 4 on the stack slates because that's just not responsible. This whole thing started because I was honest with you and just told you how I was playing the game, what made me a profitable player. And one of the things that definitely goes into this is management of my bankroll. On a short slate like this, I usually play at the very most 5% of my complete bankroll, which is half of my normal buy-in. I normally play 10% on the larger slates. I actually played just a little bit less than 5% of my bankroll tonight. Did have a solid return on that. Did double that easily. It was not hard at all. Looked at a couple of the point totals that I really liked. We sent those out to all of the subscribers via the spreadsheets that we made, where we highlighted certain plays that we liked. We told you kind of stay away from Kawhi Leonard. We think this is probably the game that's going to be going to blow out. We told you we don't think the Washington and the LA game is really going to blow out. So I like a Washington stack. We told you you can fire up Harden because I just didn't think that game was going to be blowing out the way the point spread said it would. We didn't believe a lot of these point totals. We just didn't. And if you looked at those spreadsheets, man, and you acted accordingly, there's no doubt in my mind that you are standing somewhere near the winner's circle. So let's go ahead and jump into the feature 4 players of the night. We're bypassing the core 4 because, of course, I didn't issue one out. We're going to jump right into the feature 4 players of the night. These are the 4 most talked about, tweeted about guys in the DFS sweatshop and the Facebook VIPs, as well as on the desktop chat. Let's go ahead and hop into the Who Dat, scoring all them points over there player tonight. And this is bittersweet for me because this is a guy that was drafted by my favorite team, the New York Knicks, and I liked him. He brought a lot of energy, a lot of spark. I thought he was going to be an excellent 6th man for the team that we had at the time, but things didn't go the way that I expected them to go. And of course, he was traded to the Atlanta Hawks, where he is now flourishing and becoming a really solid guy off of the bench. And even in some starters minutes, when someone is injured, we know Thabo Sefolosha was going to be out, so he did get the start. And when he does play and he gets minutes, he's really good. And he showed that tonight. That's why the little homie, Tim Hardaway Jr., THJ, is tonight's Who that scoring all them points over there play tonight? 26% ownership was the ownership on him. A lot of cats were on him. Of course you were. It was a small slate. 4.2K was the salary. He went out and better than 10x that. 47.5 DraftKings points. Awesome game we saw from Tim Hardaway Jr. Really nice game out. The next guy we're going to talk about is the how did I miss that player tonight? Now, the spreadsheets and the way we do things here, it's pretty much set in stone. It's a system that I rock with, and a lot of times in that system, I'm going to lose out on certain plays. And I just had this feeling to totally disregard the Philadelphia side of that San Antonio-Philadelphia game, and this is why I missed out on Ersan Ilyasova. 13% was the ownership, very low. 5.8K, 50 burger. 51 DraftKings points was what he scored tonight. Excellent game from him. And it was just hard for me to tell where those points were going to come from. Now, once we knew, I'm taking some indicators, some precursors to why we should have seen a lot more Ersan Ilyasova. We knew Embiid was going to be out. We knew Covington was not going to play. We knew Dario Saric was coming off of the bench and not really playing as well as he did a few games back. We also knew that Jahlil Okafor, this team just does not believe in him as a solid, viable big on the squad. So we knew the points had to be scored somewhere, and a lot of people that took a shot on Ersan Ilyasova, they definitely had a nice return on that 5.8K salary, bringing him back 51 DraftKings points at 13% owned. That is why tonight you, Ersan Ilyasova, how the I missed that player tonight. Missed it. Next guy we're going to talk about is the heat check player tonight. Now, again, another guy that we mentioned in our spreadsheet, talked about him a little bit on the show last night. We knew that this guy gets up to play. There's former teams, he gets up to play. This is a guy that if he has the want to, he can do whatever he want to do on the court. He can do whatever he wants to do on the court if he wants to. And there's only a few games a year where this guy really says, hey, man, I'm Dwight Howard. I want to fucking play. I'm going to go out and ball. And he did that tonight. 21% was ownership, so it was fairly low for a guy this talented at that 6.9K price point, which was pretty low for him, right? Really good price on him. Really low ownership in respect to the entire slate. He goes out and drops 62.25 DraftKings points, finished third among all DraftKings score, and that is why you salute Dwight Howard. You are tonight's heat check play of the night. The next guy we're going to talk about is that one motherfucker, and we got to talk about one motherfucker. And I saw this coming because I was so high on Dwight Howard that whenever I like Dwight Howard that much, I hate to roster Paul Millsap equally. These guys will never, and I say that, I use that term loosely because, I mean, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I can't remember a time I've ever seen both of these guys have a good game in the same game. Usually, if I like Millsap, I fucking hate Dwight Howard. If I like Dwight Howard, I fucking hate Millsap because both of their games are so tailored toward the double-double, getting that big rebounding, big scoring game. Now, Paul Millsap can do a lot of other things besides score and rebound. He's a pretty decent assist man. He also is a fairly decent defender on the low block. But once I kind of had a read that this is a game Dwight Howard wanted to play, I thought that he would exert way more defensive effort than we would see from Paul Millsap, and that's what happened tonight. And tonight, man, Paul, man, your ownership was at 28%. You scored 28 points. You know what that means? That means your ownership was almost higher than your points. You got saved today because it was 28.6%, and you scored 28 DraftKings points. I'm not going to hold that against you, but you ran off on the plug on that one because the slate was too small for you to be that bad. Now I already had a thought that you was gonna be bad, so I ain't fuck with you. But tonight, you's a motherfucking snowflake with your old snowflake ass, and I ain't gonna roster you again until the next time I catch you. And I don't think Dwight Howard gonna want to play too much. I'm gonna fuck with you. I'm gonna roster you, but you need to tell Dennis Schroeder to get his shit together because he's almost dead to me. I didn't have him anywhere tonight, but just the performance, man. He's a horrible performance. But you tonight, snowflake. Let's go move on with the rest of the motherfucking show. Now, what I like to do right now, usually, is just go ahead and show you my very best DraftKings lineup. And I do this because, the main thing that I want, the reason why I do all of this, why I open up my living room to you, while my children come up and they may say hey to you. And by the way, everybody wish my daughter, Carsyn Denise, a happy 3rd birthday. She is the one that steals the candy and creeps behind me when I'm not looking and I'm talking to y'all, she'll creep and steal some candy. Third birthday, she's turning 3. She's an awesome kid, man. I love her very much. So the main reason why I want to show you these is because I want you to trust me. I want you to know that what I'm telling you is what I really feel, what I really think. Am I always going to be right? No. But I'm not going to change my view. I'm not going to change my standpoint. I'm going to come at you exactly with what's in here because that's where I do it from. So let's go ahead and jump into my very best DraftKings lineup. And of course, I want you to know that stacking works. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to take down a GPP or multiple GPPs if you stack, but on a slate like tonight, where you play light and you just want to see a return on your investment, this is a really, really good way to do it. And I'm going to show you my very best DraftKings lineup. What was it? I had a couple hit the 300 club tonight. I only ran like 4 lineups tonight. Usually on a slate this small, I run maybe 2 or 3, but uh, I ran like 4 tonight. Now, as you can see, I had this lineup in a few different spots. This was my single entry lineup. It was in the 5K jump shot. It was in the 5K high five, the 4K daily dollar. I had it in the quarter games where I actually built the lineup. And this is it. This is my very best DraftKings lineup tonight. And it's very seldom that my best lineup is the one that I enter in all of my single entries because I just make so many. A lot of times I might run 10 lineups on a larger slate, and I just miss on getting my best lineup into those single entries. But tonight was a really good night for that. So we're gonna start. This was a Washington stack. If you know me, you watch the show, you know that I'm stacking on the shorter slates, and you know there's a few teams that if they're playing, I'm gonna be stacking them, and Washington is one. So we're gonna start here. We've got John Wall starting off the stack. I really like him at the point guard position. 62.75 was the points that he brought back. I got Brad Beal in there, 38.25, and then we had Markieff Morris. So this was a 3-man stack. Was the base of this lineup. Now, what I wanted to do from here, I knew I wanted to get another stud. I wanted to pay up for another stud, and I figured, hey man, I can pay up for Harden right here, and then just have a bunch of shit everywhere else. But I was kind of afraid of Harden not really reaching that value. I wanted to go with a safer play, somebody that I thought could exceed the 6x value at a safer clip and a lower price point. And that's why I went with Steph Curry. And another thing about it was I wanted to get the highest owned guy. Out of all the studs I had besides John Wall, I looked through them and I was like, man, who's going to be the highest owned? Because that's the guy I want. Either I'm going to fall with everybody or I'm going to rise up with everybody. And that's why we had Steph Curry right here. Once I had Steph Curry, I knew I wanted to stay in that Washington game. So I turned this into a four-man game stack. A 4-man game stack where I had Wall, Beal, Markieff Morris, and D'Angelo Russell because you know I like to roster as many primary ball handlers as possible. We got D'Angelo Russell in there, had a really nice 48-point game at his depressed price point. And then I had enough left. It wasn't much, but I had to get power forward, a center, and another forward here. I liked Andre Iguodala. I thought if Steph Curry has a really nice game, they blow him out a little bit, we're going to see some extended run for Andre Iguodala. Then the news breaks that, and I wasn't really sure that he was going to go out and have a really nice game. But then the news breaks that Draymond Green is going to be playing. Oh shit! Yes, let's get him in there. Let's get him in there. He is probably like the key to the second team. So when Draymond was going to be in there, I knew we were going to see some extended run for Andre Iguodala. So I got him in there, and then I wanted to exploit what I felt would be the only, the safest bet for a blowout on the slate, and that was the San Antonio Spurs. And that is why I got Dwayne Dedmon and Davis Bertans in there. And 10 minutes or maybe 20 minutes before lock, I found out that Bertans was going to be starting. I said, shit, the ownership is going to jump up on him, and I'm not going to be able to really separate myself. When it kicked off and it started, his ownership was still at 6%. So that was a very nice play there. And he returned 28 DraftKings points at 3.1K, I believe, or 3K flat maybe. And Dwayne Dedmon returned 33.5 at his 3.5K price point. So this is a very, very nice roster build. Very, very nice construction. I was happy with this, very pleased with it. And this lineup brought back 336.25 DraftKings points. Really nice night there. Was able to double my buy-in. Had another lineup that cashed. Hit the 300 club. Here it is.
This one didn't do as good as my like primary stack line, but I just wanted to get some exposure to the other guys that I didn't that I didn't roster on the Washington side, just in case those guys went off. And it was Martin Gortat. I had Gortat here. He had a really nice game with 46 DraftKings points. Had Marquise Morris here. I was able to get a different stack with Kawhi Leonard and David Lee in there. Had those two. Then I had Steph Curry, Jamal Crawford, and finished it out with Andre Iguodala and D'Angelo Russell. This lineup brought back 325.5 DraftKings points. So it was a really decent night, man. It was a really good night. Anytime you can double your buy-in on any given slate, that's profit. That's what we're living for. That's what we're playing for, and I'll definitely take that. Now let's go ahead, jump into a very brief recap of last night's 4 games. We do this because we've got to know where we've been if we want to know what these guys are going to be doing going forward. And of course, you guys probably can't watch all the games that I get to, so I like to report to you the things that I see, things that I've learned from watching the game firsthand. So let's go ahead and jump into the first game on the slate. This is going to be the Washington Wizards at home against the LA Lakers. We're going to start on the Lakers side. Man, we saw a pretty decent game from Luol Deng, and I talked about this on last night's show. I knew he was going to be seeing a lot of defensive usage. He played 31 minutes, actually led the team in minutes. Luol Deng did. 17 points, 6 rebounds, 1 block while shooting 54% from the field. Pretty decent game there for him at that price point. Tariq Black got the start and double-doubled. At 25 minutes, he had 13 and 11 with 1 assist while shooting 83% from the field. Pretty good game there. Timothy Mozgov was a space saver, did not do anything. He played 17 minutes and had 1 rebound and 1 assist. Horrible game there for him. Swaggy P, not much, 7 and 1 in his 24 minutes. Nice one we saw from D'Angelo Russell. 17 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Only shot 33% from the field, going 5 of 15. He did take 10 3-point shots and hit 4 of those. So if he has a better shooting performance, this is a much better game we would see from D'Angelo Russell. Jordan Clarkson, in his 28 minutes, had 20 points and 2 rebounds with 1 assist. And Larry Nance was a pleasant surprise off of the bench. In 19 minutes, he had 8 and 6 with 1 assist and 3 steals. Pretty good game there. Lou Williams, sweet Lou, 23 minutes, he had 15 and 2 with 4 rebounds. Not a great game there from him. He shot 33% from the field. That was not good at all on the Washington Wizards side. You could have stacked this fucking game 5 deep. You could have stacked every short slate like that. There's an offense that you can stack 5 deep and you'll be fine. You could take down some shit with it. We're going to start with Otto Porter. In 37 minutes, he had 11 and 6 with 3 assists and 2 steals, shooting 44% from the field. Markieff Morris, 12 and 11 with 2 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. Martin Gortat grabbed 14 rebounds, 21 points, 3 assists, and 1 steal in his 32 minutes. And Brad Beal in 33 had 23 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Really nice game we saw from him. And John Wall, man, he crushed it. 33 points, 3 rebounds, 11 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. He shot 47% from the field, hit 3 of 7 from 3, and he did miss 2 free throws, but he hit 8 of them, so that wasn't bad for him at all. Really nice game we saw from all of the Washington Wizards starters and did not see much off of the bench. And people kept trying to feed us Kelly Oubre Jr. all day long. And this slate was just too full of guys that were cheap and coming off of the bench, jumping into starting roles to roster cats that were actually coming off of the bench. There was no point to it. And I think that's where a lot of people faltered on a slate like this. So next game we're going to get into is going to be the Houston Rockets at home getting beat by the Atlanta Hawks, man. And I saw a lot of fight in the Atlanta Hawks recently, man. Of course, I went to the game in Atlanta where my New York Knicks got the ass whooped in 4 fucking overtimes. It's brutal. And I saw a lot of fight in this Atlanta Hawks team, man. And that continued. They dropped a dub the last game out because they came right off of that high of going in 4 overtime games, winning a really, really great game, and kind of laid an egg. But this time, tonight, they came out and played really well. We're going to start with Tim Hardaway Jr., who led all scorers on the Atlanta Hawks side. Man, he had an excellent game. Played 33 minutes, had 33 points, 6 boards, 3 assists, 1 block, shooting 66% from the field and 4 for 9 from 3-point. Really nice game there. Paul Millsap, Snowflake, didn't do much of shit in the second half. He had 16 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, and 2 steals, shooting 50% from the field and going 1 for 4 from behind the arc. Dwight Howard, the Heat check player tonight, had 24 points and 23 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, shooting 4 for 8 from the field, 7 for 8 from the free throw, and he did hit 2 for 3 from the free throw. He had 11 for 13 from the field. So that's 84% shooting we saw from Dwight Howard. Excellent game there from him, man. Really nice game there. And you got to think, can he do this every night? I think he can. If he really wants to, I think he can. He just doesn't give a fuck until he's playing somebody that he can kind of shove it. You know what I mean? Tell him to shove it with a great game. So DeAndre Bembry off of the bench had 10 and 4 to go with 2 assists. Pretty good game for him at that price point. Didn't see much else on the Atlanta Hawks side. On the Houston side, not a great game at all from Trevor Ariza. 3 and 5 to go with 3 assists and 2 steals, shooting 1 for 12. And there was a point in the game where this dude was just chucking up fucking threes nonstop. He took 10 3-point shots and only hit 1. Of the 12 shots that he did take, 10 of them was threes. And that's just unacceptable. Ryan Anderson, in 33 minutes, had 11 and 2 to go with 2 assists. Pretty so-so game for him. Clint Capella was actually the play aside from James Harden. He had 22 points, 9 boards, 2 steals, and 1 block while shooting 81% from the field. James Harden was just setting him up, man. Dimes all day. Pat Beverly, in 30 minutes, had 9 and 6 with 1 assist and 1 steal. Not a great game there. James Harden, 41 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 steals, 10 of 23 from the field. 43% was the clip on that. He shot 16 of 20. He hit 16 of 21 free throws. So he stayed on the foul line all night long and hit 5 of 12 3-point shots. Really nice game there from James Harden. Eric Gordon off of the bench. He led those bench guys in scoring. Had 13 points, 3 boards, and 3 assists to go with the steal. Pretty decent game there at his price point. Next game we're going to talk about the San Antonio Spurs at home against the Philadelphia 76ers. This game was the only true blowout on the slate. I did not have a lot of love for this game, man, but I should have had more love for Ersan Ilyasova. How did I miss that play tonight? In 38 minutes, he had 25 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals, and 1 block, shooting 8 for 17 from the field and 2 for 6 from behind the arc. Dario Saric was not a bad play in this game. He had 14 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. He only shot 29% from the field, hit 2 of 7 3-pointers. He could have had a much better game if he had brought that shooting percentage up some. Jahlil Okafor in 25 minutes had 9 and 9 to go with 3 assists. Not a great game there. Sauce, 28 minutes, had 8 and 4 and a triple 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block. TJ McConnell shit the bed. 31 minutes for him. He had 4 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. Not a great game there for him at all. Just not too much to talk about on the Philadelphia side. As far as the San Antonio Spurs go, man, we saw a really nice game from Dwayne Dedmon. In 22 minutes, he had 13 and 10 with 1 assist, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. We saw a nice one from Danny Green, 12 and 4 with 2 steals at his low price point. And Bertans, man, 12 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. The dude shot 5 of 14 from the field, hit 2 of 8 3-pointers. If he has a better game, I am getting so much further into the money because the ownership on him was low as fuck. Kawhi Leonard had 19 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Just didn't have to see a full run of Kawhi Leonard in tonight's game. He only played 25 minutes. He shot 47% from the field and hit 3 of 5 from the free throws. So we didn't have to see too much of him. Patty Mills in 17 minutes had 12 points and 2 rebounds with 4 assists. David Lee didn't get to start, but he came off of the bench. He only played 17 minutes, but he had 12 and 9 with 1 assist, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Pretty good game there for David Lee. The last game on the slate was the LA Clippers at home against the Golden State Warriors. This game was fairly close until we got deeper into late into the third quarter, early into the fourth quarter. The Golden State Warriors just pulled away like they do a lot of times. They just pulled away from them. Starting the Golden State side, Pat McCall, he did get the start for Draymond Green, and in 28 minutes, he has 8 points, 1 rebound, 6 assists, and 2 steals. That's decent for the price that he was at. I believe he was minimum salary. Kevin Durant, 26 points, 8 rebounds, 10 assists, 1 steal. He was on a triple-double watch, had a really nice game, shooting 8 for 18 from the field and 2 for 7 from behind the arc, and did not miss any of the 8 free throws that he did take in this game. JaVale McGee, I like JaVale McGee, man. Fuck Pachulia, man. Fuck Pachulia. I like JaVale McGee, man. High energy guy, nice point per minute player. Dude only played 15 minutes, and he had 11 points, 8 boards, 1 assist, and a block. shooting 83% from the field. Hit one free throw of the two he took. Dude is good. This dude is good. He can play. He can ball, especially with a team like Golden State. He can ball with those guys. Klay Thompson had a really slow start, picked up 2 early fouls in the first quarter, but he did finish strong, had 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists. Not a great game there for him, but that was pretty decent if you take into consideration, if you were stacking this, especially if you went 4 or 5 deep, he was just going to be a collateral damage. Him getting 33 points on DraftKings was a collateral damage. Steph Curry, another nice game from him, 29 points, 11 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 steals, shooting 47% from the field. He only hit 3 of 10 3-pointers if he had a better 3-point shooting game, but he was so hardly owned. I mean, he was up to 60% owned in some GPPs. Ian Clark in 21 minutes had 11 points, 1 rebound, and 4 assists. Decent game there for him. Andre Iguodala was a player that I really liked, and in 29 minutes he had 13 and 4 with 4 assists and 3 steals. And if you can get 29, 30 minutes of Andre Iguodala, that means that they're blowing the shit out of a team at this point. And it's late in the third and the fourth, and you're just going to see some Andre Iguodala. He's going to be out there making plays. So I did like him. That game script went very close to the way that I had it in my head. That doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, you have profitable nights. James Michael McAdoo in 17 minutes had 10 and 9 to go with a block, shooting 83% from the field. I'm sure not a lot of people rostered him, but that was a very good game at that minimum salary price point. On the LA Clippers side, we did see a nice game from the coach's son, man. Austin Rivers, he played 36 minutes, had 18 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, also had a block in the game. 46% was the shooting clip on that. He had 4 of 6 free throws. Really nice game we saw from the coach's son. Blake Griffin came back with a vengeance, man. He hates the Golden State Warriors, and he always gets up to play them. He played 30 minutes, had 31 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block while shooting 52% from the field. He stayed at the free throw line all night. 13 tries. He had 11 of them. That was pretty decent there. Not a great game we saw from DeAndre Jordan. 9 and 7 to go with 1 assist and 2 blocks. We saw a really decent game from JJ Redick. 17 and 2 to go with 3 assists and 2 steals with a block. And Jamal Crawford off of the bench was a very nice bright spot. In 34 minutes, he had 21 points, 2 boards, and 4 assists to go with a block, shooting 63% from the field and 5 for 8 from behind the arc. Really nice game we saw from Jamal Crawford. Now that we have recapped last night's games, let's go ahead and jump into a very quick player pricing review before we jump into the point totals for tomorrow's slate. We've got a nice amount of games tomorrow. It's a Super Friday. We've got 9 games starting at 7 o'clock. So we're going to go ahead and jump into that and see what we can come up with. What we want to do here, what we want to do in this segment of the show is we want to look at who we're going to cross off of our list. This is the most telling factor about what's going to happen right now is who we're not fucking with. We're going to find out who we love and who we hate right now. The rest of it, everything in between can be worked out as the day goes on, as we get news, as we talk to other players, as we mix it up in the VIP on Twitter. We can fill the rest of that stuff in. But what we want to find out right now is who we love and who we hate. So first thing we're going to do is open up the slate, check it out. We know it is a 9-game slate tomorrow. Kicks off at do I have to have this line on? Yeah. 9-game slate tomorrow. Kicks off at, I need a lighting guy, like a guy with a thing, and just, I wonder if I can hire a lighting guy. Do we have enough money to hire a lighting guy? No? Okay. Alright, so it's a 9-game slate, and here it starts at 7 o'clock. Bam. So we've got a late slate of 3 games. We've got a 2-game turbo. We've got another 2-game later slate at 10:30. That turbo is at 7:30. And we've got a 3-game turbo that starts at 8. And you know what I'm about to say, man? Make a lineup in the late. Make a lineup in the 8 o'clock turbo to 3 games. Throw them bitches in the main. Just do it. Thank me later. Nobody ever does that. I keep saying, it's like one guy a month that's like, yo, I did it and it worked and I won some money. Everybody else is like, yeah, that's a great idea, and they never do it. Never do it. Trying to help, baby. All right. So, as we can see, the highest salaried guy on tomorrow's slate is going to be James Harden at 12.5K. That's a pretty nice price, a pretty high price on James Harden on a back-to-back. I believe he saw. Let's check James Harden's minutes from last night. See what they were. He did play a fair amount of minutes last night. Played 38 minutes. That game did not blow out. He played 38 minutes. Do we want to jump on James Harden again at 12.5K against probably a slower paced team, but a good team at that? Uh, I don't think I'm going to be going in that direction too much. He's somebody who is just hard for me to just straight up fade, but I don't think I'm going to be fucking with that tomorrow. Russell Westbrook at 11.5K. The price is down on him from that 12K. I think he can make value if we're looking at 60 some odd DraftKings points. If what you want tomorrow at 11.5K is 60 some odd DraftKings points, I think you can get that tomorrow from Russell Westbrook going up against the Memphis Grizzlies. If this game was at the Grindhouse, I would feel differently. But the Oklahoma City Thunder are home. I think Westbrook is a really safe play of all of those guys that are priced up. DeMarcus Cousins at 10.9 against the Phoenix Suns. That's a play I think we can definitely look at too. I mean, that's priced up. That's damn near 11K. You're gonna need 60 some odd points from him, but Boogie can handle that. Giannis Antetokounmpo, coming off of that horrible game he had against the Utah Jazz in Utah, still on the road, going to Denver. 10.3 is the price point. He can definitely make value. This is a beat up team. Denver Nuggets are a beat up team. There's so many guys that are going to be out. I kind of like I kind of like 3 of the top 4 studs right now on the slate. Now 10K is the price on Isaiah Thomas, so he's priced up. And on first glance, this is a game that could blow out. Lakers going to be on a back-to-back. They're just a bad team in general. The game is not in LA. It's in Boston. This is an old school rivalry, old school NBA rivalry. The Boston Celtics and the LA Lakers. I think Boston gets up for this game at home. Isaiah Thomas is not a play that I'm gonna have a ton of interest in. I jumped in and got a piece of that 60 some odd points he had the other night. I think I'm gonna pass on him tomorrow. Karl Anthony Towns 9.9K. He's in play for me against Andre Drummond definitely. Nikola Jokic is questionable. If he does play, I do like him, but just not at 9.3. First game back off an injury, 9.3K. I'm not gonna fuck with that tomorrow if he does play. Jimmy Butler most certainly is in play at 9K against the Houston Rockets. The game's gonna be up pace. Usually the pace of the game is dictated by the best player on the floor tomorrow. That probably will be James Harden. Up pace, up tempo, Mike D'Antoni defense. I like Jimmy Butler tomorrow. Kyle Lowry at 8.9K, and it's a real thing, man, because the Orlando Magic are third ranked DVP against point guard primary ball handlers. So I don't like Kyle Lowry tomorrow. This dude has been carrying his team on his back for quite a few days. I don't think we have to see a huge game from Kyle Lowry for them to beat the Orlando Magic. So I don't think I'm going to be taking Kyle Lowry tomorrow. Eric Bledsoe 8.8 is in play for me. I like him. Paul George. If any other team he playing against, I wouldn't like him. But against the Brooklyn Nets, give me some Paul George. Big game Dame 8K is the price on him. That's down for the 8.6. I think it was just at against the Dallas Mavericks. They do restrict the point guard position, but the game is at the Motor Center. Dame is a baller. I like Dame tomorrow. Andre Drummond is in play for me at 7.9. Definitely. Marc Gasol, yes, at 7.8. And the reason why I say that is because we don't have Enes Kanter in Oklahoma City. There's going to be all kind of random casters jumping in playing center. Marc Gasol gets off on him. He has a great game. DeMar DeRozan is questionable. Probably not going to play tomorrow. 7.7K. If he does play, I still don't like him. First game back off an injury. I'm not fucking with that. Jeff Teague, yes. Yes. I even smell like a little Indiana stack coming. Because you can do this, bro. You can stack against the Brooklyn Nets. I do like Jeff Teague tomorrow against the 30th ranked DVP against the point guard position. I think he's a really good play. Jabari Parker. The only reason why I like Jabari Parker is because I like Giannis. If I didn't like Giannis, I wouldn't like Jabari. Those guys go together for me. They're like Lowry and DeRozan. I like both of them together more than I like one of them by themselves. So I do like Jabari Parker tomorrow. CJ McCollum is in play at 7.2. If you want a piece of this game at the Motor Center and you don't want to pay up that 8K for Dame Lillard, I think CJ McCollum can be just as good. Mike Conley, yes, he's in play at 7.1. Andrew Wiggins is in play for me at 7K. I like him. Vucevic is in play at 7K, definitely. These Euros, bro, they play hard against each other for some reason. I think he can smash on fucking Valanciunas. Dwayne Wade been playing really good lately. I like him at 7K. Miles Turner is in play for me at 6.9. Now, the only thing is the price is up on him a little bit. The price is up a little bit, right around 7K. So we're going to start to get a little squeamish about rostering Miles Turner. If Brook Lopez costs less than Miles Turner, which I'm sure he probably does because we're going down the list, I'd rather have Brook Lopez than Miles Turner tomorrow. Al Horford is in play at 6.8, definitely. Devin Booker is in play at 6.8. I like him. I do not like Ricky Rubio tomorrow, even though he's been playing very well. I don't like him tomorrow. Brook Lopez, 6.5 is a salary. I think we can go there. Mason Plumlee is not a player that I'm too fond of tomorrow. At 6.3, man, they just do so much to limit and restrict the center position. This is the first-ranked team in the league against the center position. I don't like Mason Plumlee tomorrow. Plus, the price is up, 6.3K. When he's under 6K, he's a lot. But more than that, I don't want him. Jay Crowder is still at 6.2K. He's probably going to be seeing some defense from Luol Deng, which is pretty good defense. Plus, Luol Deng doesn't handle the ball a lot, so I don't see Jay Crowder getting a ton of defensive usage, D'ing up on Luol Deng, so I'll pass on that. Serge Ibaka is in play at 6.2. Harrison Barnes is not in play for me at 6.2. I don't like him. Zach LaVine is a no for me. Julius Randle, if he plays and he's fine, that is a really nice way we can attack Boston rebounds in the basketball. 6K is a salary on him. I do like that. Will Gallinari is probably going to be out tomorrow at 6K. Kenneth Faried is questionable. If he does play, I still don't like him. Reggie Jackson is in a really plus matchup. Nobody's going to want to roster him tomorrow because he had a dud and got benched the last time out. I think I'm going to give him some consideration. Elfrid Payton is in play at 6K for me. D'Angelo Russell, I kind of like D'Angelo Russell. The price, while he's under 6K and he's getting a lot of minutes, I kind of like D'Angelo Russell tomorrow. KCP coming off of that hot game. People are going to chase those points. I'm not. 5.9 is the salary. I'm not fucking with it. Lou Williams at 5.8 can be a nice play if we see LA Lakers keeping it close. If you don't see that, don't play Lou Williams. Seth Curry has been balling out lately. I don't see any reason why we can't roster him at 5.8. Wilson Chandler, with so many injuries to the Denver side, he is definitely in play for me. Norman Powell, if we don't see DeMar DeRozan, I believe we can look to Norman Powell tomorrow to bounce back and have a better game. Marcus Smart is a player that I really like. He could see like an incredible amount of run if they blow this game out. So I like Marcus Smart tomorrow. I think he's a really nice player, but we've got to keep up with the Avery Bradley news to make sure he's going to be out. Tobias Harris is a no for me. Darren Williams, he may play tomorrow. And if he does, that's the end of Yogi Ferrell. You can't roster him. But if he's out, Yogi is definitely in play. He is. Will Barton, 5.4, probably will be out tomorrow. Zach Randolph is in play at 5.4K. Who else is gonna rebound the basketball against the second team of the Oklahoma City Thunder? But Zach Randolph, I do like him tomorrow. Thaddeus Young is a player that I'm very interested in at 5.4. Jonas Valanciunas, the price is still down on him at 5.4. He is in play. Ryan Anderson is a play that looks really good on the outset, but I just don't like him tomorrow. Greg Monroe is a no for me. Gorgie Jang at 5.3 is a no. Darren Collison can be a nice play at 5.3. The price on him is not bad at all. Tyson Chandler at 5.3. I think we can definitely target Boogie when it comes to rebounding the basketball on the low block. He's going to be matched up against Costa Kufis some of the game. I think I like Tyson Chandler tomorrow. Wesley Matthews is a no for me. Vic Oladipo, yes, at 5.2. Even though he's going to be seeing Tony Allen defense, the guy's usage is through the roof. He's going to be on the floor a lot. He's got to score. You can't just do it all or rely all on Russell Westbrook. So this guy is being used. I like him tomorrow. Dirk Nowitzki at 5.2 is an interesting play, but not one I think I'm going to be very high on. Eric Gordon is in play for me at 5.1. Trevor Ariza is not in play at 5.1. Yogi Ferrell, the price is up on him, man. The price is up. So there's no more 4K, get 26 points, great game. Like, this dude needs to legit score 30 points in order to beat that 6X value. And I'm not sure if we can see that, but you've got to take a shot on him and keep riding the hot hand. He's been playing very well lately. Enes Kanter, he's out. Marcus Morris is in play at 5K. I like him. Evan Fournier is in play at 5K. I like him. Pat Beverly is a no for me. Steven Adams, yeah, we can look at Steven Adams. The price is very cheap, 4.9, man, 4.9K. And it's not like Marcus Gasol is some rebounding genius. Like, the dude gets like 7, 8 rebounds a game. So there's plenty of room on the court for Steven Adams, especially since There's so many injuries to the Oklahoma City big men. He's going to see a fair amount of minutes. Jameer Nelson is a no for me. Evan Turner is a no. Alfaruka Aminu, 4.8, no for me. Malcolm Brogdon is not in play at all for me. Gary Harris is the play I kind of like at 4.7K. Aaron Gordon. Believe it or not, I kind of like Aaron Gordon tomorrow. I think he can have a solid game. I like Aaron Gordon tomorrow. Taj Gibson is a no for me. Clint Capella, yes, at 4.7. Now, even though the Chicago Bulls is probably the best rebounding team in the league, I don't like Taj Gibson. I would like Robin Lopez a little bit more if I was going to try to get a piece of that. Clint Capella, yeah, 4.7. Trevor Booker, I like him at 4.6. Moutier had a really nice game out. Don't think that continues. He is questionable, but he probably is going to play, and I don't think that continues from the last game that he had out. But the price is 4.5K. If he's starting, you've got to give him a look because he's just so cheap. A starting point guard at 4.5K can definitely help you out when it comes to saving salary to pay up in other spots. Jordan Clarkson, 4.4. I like him a little bit. PJ Tucker is somebody who I really like at 4.4K. This dude is instant fucking double-double. He can jump over the bench and in 19 minutes have a double-double and hit 3-point shots as well. I kind of like PJ Tucker tomorrow. Nurkic is a no for me. Swaggy P, 4.2. He'd probably hit 2 threes in the first quarter and then sit his ass down. Don't do shit else. If Ivaka Zubac, price is up on him 4.2. I don't want any of that. I kind of like Tony Allen at 4.2K. He's going to see some defensive usage against Vic Oladipo, so I kind of like him. Bojan Bogdanovic is not a player that I'm interested in. I do like Robin Lopez at 4.2. Kelly Olynyk probably is going to play tomorrow. If he does, I don't like him anyway. Matthew Dellavedova, 4.1 is a no for me. CJ Miles is in play for me at 4.1. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson probably won't get to start like he did last time. They'll probably go back to Trevor Booker. That was so he could play Melo, which he played Melo pretty well. Brandon Ingram at 4K is a no for me. Shabazz Muhammad is in play at 4K. John Lure is a no for me. Sean Kilpatrick, yes, 4K. I like him. DeMar Carroll, the price is up a couple hundred on him. He's at 4K. Don't like him too much tomorrow. Rajon Rondo is a no for me. Garrett Temple, no. He's injured, actually. TJ Warren is a play I kind of like at 4K. I kind of like him. Jermichael Green can also be a decent play. Karis LeVert, no. Terrence Ross. If we don't see DeRozan, I think we can look to Terrence Ross as a lower price point than Norman Powell. Lucas Nogueira at 3.9 is in play for me, definitely. Ty Lawson is a no for me. Now, we've got to look at this because if Ty Lawson doesn't play, against Phoenix, which is not a very good team on the perimeter, we've got to give more consideration to Darren Collins. I know he hits the chicks, but he can definitely be a nice play tomorrow. Matt Barnes at 3.9 is in play as a punt play at the forward position. Alan Crabb, yes, at 3.9 as another punt position, a punt at the forward position. Maurice Harkless is a no for me. Jaylen Brown, if he gets to start, 3.7. Yeah, why not against the Lakers? You can start cats against the Lakers. Luol Deng is a no for me. Vince Carter, 3.7. Yeah. Sam Decker, 3.7. Yeah. Devin Harris, no. Amir Johnson, getting the start, 3.6. If you want to punt the center position, yeah, you can look to him. Jamal Murray's a no for me. Isaiah Whitehead, if he does start against Jeff Teague, I like him at 3.6K to punt that point guard position. CJ Watson is a no for me. Pat Patterson, 3.6. Kind of like him tomorrow. Yeah, I do. Marcus Chris at 3.6 can be a solid play, especially if he gets to start. Salah Mejri, he had a really nice game out last time, scored a bunch of points. People are going to be chasing that at 3.6K. I don't want any part of that. Let's go ahead and see. Bismack can get busy at 3.5K. I like that. Montrezl Harrell, 3.5 is a no for me unless we find out that Nene is not playing. Now, Nene didn't see much minutes tonight. He played 16 minutes tonight. So there's a chance he could play another 15, 16 minutes tomorrow night. And we didn't see any Montrezl Harrell. He didn't play due to the coach's decision. So we found out that that was because they want to give Montrezl Harrell some run tomorrow. You can look at him at 3.5K. Tolliver is a yes at 3.5. I like him. Justin Anderson, no. Dwight Powell, 3.5. I don't like him too much. Hernan Gomez, Wancho, I don't like him very much. Brandon Knight, 3.4K is in play. I like him at 3.4K. He's in play definitely if you want to punt that shooting guard or point guard position. Aaron Aflalo. Now, who's going to be seeing the minutes? Because we know that let me find this guy because he's out. Now, Ty Lawson is questionable, may not play, and Garrett Temple is out. He's hurt. So we're going to see some increase in minutes for some Sacramento Kings guys. So I think you can look to this really bad player named Aaron Aflalo. He's a very bad player, but if he sees minutes, he can score. And the price is 3.4K. He can be someone that you can invest in and get you 20, 25 points. That's very possible for him. Spencer Dinwiddie, if he starts against Jeff Teague, I like him, but probably going to be Isaiah Whitehead as the starter. We need to check on that. So let's go ahead and just see if we can find a cheapie. Alex Lynn, 3.1K. I like that. I like Alex Lynn tomorrow, 3.1K. I like that. I think that's a good play. Who we got? We got Thomas Robinson, maybe in a blowout. He gets some scrub love, maybe. Maybe we haven't seen Mirza in quite some time. Miles Plumlee just got traded to the Charlotte Hornets, so don't worry about him. So maybe that's going to increase some minutes for somebody like John Henson, maybe at minimum salary 3K, because Miles Plumlee is gone. You can look at that. You can look at John Henson tomorrow, or now do they start? Do they start Greg Monroe now? This is something we got to pay attention to. We're gonna find this out tomorrow at some point before we really get into our roster build. So let's go ahead and jump into a game by game breakdown. Really digging into the point totals to see where we want to invest a lot of our DK dollars or FanDuel dollars, whichever site that you play on. I play on both. Right. Look up there strong. Okay. And now let's go ahead and jump into these point totals. We're gonna start in Orlando, where the Magic are at home against the Toronto Raptors. There's no point total yet for this game because we know we're dealing with a couple of injuries on the Orlando side as well as the Toronto side. DeMar DeRozan being the key injury play that we've been talking about. Probably won't see him tomorrow. Like I said, I don't like Kyle Lowry very much. I think Valanciunas can definitely be in play. A lot of guys on the Orlando side kind of stick out to me, starting with Elfrid Payton. Also, Nikolai Vucevic can be a really nice play. I like him against Jonas Valanciunas tomorrow. You can also look to Serge Ibaka, or if you want to pay down all the way to Bismack Biyombo, he might be able to get busy against this Toronto Raptors defense. Now, Norman Powell was a very interesting play too, because he had a bad game out. The price went up on him just a little bit. He had a bad game. The price is kind of back manageable, and people are not going to want to roster him tomorrow. I think he's definitely in play for me. If we know he's going to get that 34, 35 minutes he's been getting since DeRozan's been out, I think you can fire him up. Next game, I'm going to talk about the Brooklyn Nets at home against the Indiana Pacers. This is a really nice point total. Juicy one at that. 220.5 points is the total, with the Brooklyn Nets receiving 7 points. So Indiana is going there and they're giving up 7 points. So Brooklyn Nets are a home dog. I like home dogs. I think that gives them an extra added bonus to go out and play well. And automatically, Brook Lopez jumps out to me in this game. Going up against Miles Turner. Miles Turner is kind of like that Brook Lopez. He's not a banger. He's more of a finesse big who likes to shoot deeper shots. He can knock them down at times. I think, if I'm going to take a guy like that in a matchup like this, I'm going to take the more experienced guy. I'm going to take the more experienced guy that's got a better, head grasp of the game of basketball, and that's going to be Brook Lopez. So I do like him tomorrow in that matchup against Miles Turner. I think you can definitely go to him. On the Indiana side, man, I love Jeff Teague tomorrow. It's going to be one of my favorite point guard plays. I can see it already. Paul George is actually in play for me, as well as C.J. Miles. Not all of these guys on one team, but I'm just saying these are guys that I kind of like from this game. Back to the Brooklyn side, I think Sean Kilpatrick could be a decent play. Maybe to slow down Paul George, they start Rondae Hollis-Jefferson again and leave Trevor Booker on the bench to come off of the bench. Last time out, that did work. It worked well for both of them, for Trevor Booker and for Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. So maybe that's something that they're going to do when they run up on these athletic, swing kind of point forward, kind of stretch 4 or 5 type guys. Because he can play 3 or 4, Paul George that is. So they might need a guy with some length, quickness, and athleticism to stay with him. It's probably why they're probably going to play Rondae Hollis-Jefferson to start and bring Trevor Booker off of the bench. We talked about Jeff Teague defense already. There is none. So whoever starts at point guard for the Brooklyn Nets, if you want to punt the position, they are in play. Next game I'm going to talk about is the Detroit Pistons at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is a 210-point total, but a really close spread. Detroit Pistons are only favored by 4 points. I think this bodes well for the Detroit side as they are a slower, grinded out, more rebounding, defense-oriented team. That makes me, if I had to choose a center in this game, it would make me choose Andre Drummond over Karl Anthony Towns. It made me choose Andre Drummond over Karl Anthony Towns for 2 reasons. Number one, Drummond's a beast on the boards, and he's just cheaper. He's just way cheaper than Karl Anthony Towns at this point. So I do like him. I like him very much, actually. I think Reggie Jackson could be a nice contrarian play. Nobody's going to want to play him after what happened last time, getting benched and not playing very well. Also, the same thing for Zach LaVine. Nobody's going to want to play Zach LaVine tomorrow. Him matched up against KCP. Both of these guys can have really nice games. I won't be on KCP as much as I was the last time out when he dropped that 50, just because the ownership is going to be a little higher on him. And if he busts, it's going to hurt. So I don't like him very much. Ricky Rubio is not a play that I'm very interested in. And it's not because he's not a good play. It's because the Detroit Pistons play the game at such a slow pace that I don't see that many possessions going in the way of the Minnesota Timberwolves. I could be wrong, and this could be a game where Ricky Rubio takes over and him and Cat just wreck shop. But if that's the reason why I lose, that's the reason why I lose. Next game I'm going to talk about Boston Celtics at home against the LA Lakers. Now, the Celtics are giving up 11.5 points. This is a huge point total, a huge point spread. But the point total isn't that juicy. It's 221 points. So, what is the Boston team total? Is what we're thinking. Like, how much are the Boston Celtics going to actually score? And it seems like they will top 100. So that does leave some consideration for some guys. But I need a bigger point total to roster Isaiah Thomas at that 10K price tag, because he's got to get 60 points in order to meet the value that I'm looking for. And I don't think they have to do that. I don't think he has to do that in order for the LA Lakers to lose this game. So not much to like for me on the Boston side. On the Lakers side, I do like D'Angelo Russell. While he's under 6K, man, this dude is a 7K point guard. He is. He's a 7K point guard easy. He should be priced up with, Ricky Rubio and I'm not Mike Conley and them, but Jeff. He should be priced up with those guys because he can go out. He can fucking ball. He just can. And I want to take advantage of that while he's so cheap. So I do like him tomorrow. Don't like too much else from the Lakers side or the Boston side for that matter. I think Al Horford can be in play, but we like to attack. We like to attack the Boston Celtics rebounding the basketball. So if we know that we're going to get a nice full firm allotment of minutes from Julius Randle, I do like him. We could punt the position and still attack Boston rebounding with Tariq Black if we don't see Randle, or Zubac, who the price is up on him at 4.2K. I don't know how I feel about that. He may get some run and some scrub love. So there's a few directions we could go on the LA Lakers side, but it's gonna take you being right about the game flow and the script of the game that you're reading in your head. Next game I'm gonna talk about is the Houston Rockets at home against the Chicago Bulls. This is a nice point total. 223 is the point total, with the Houston Rockets giving up 6.5 to the Bulls. Now they're at home, so Chicago Bulls are a road dog. That doesn't scare me at all. With veteran players, with veteran leadership, like Dwayne Wade has been playing very well lately, as well as Jimmy Butler. I think you can fire them both up tomorrow, especially Dwayne Wade, because we know if Harden's going to be on Wade, Wade's going to have an open door, open path to the basket. So I do like Dwayne Wade tomorrow. I like him a lot, actually. Since they had that little blowout in Chicago where they called out the young players, man, they've been playing well. Hoiberg really handled that situation properly, and they've been playing quite well. So I will take some shots on the Chicago side of the ball tomorrow in 3 different places. Jimmy Butler, Robin Lopez, and as well as Dwayne Wade, my favorite play from the Chicago side. On the Houston side, Harden, of course, Harden's in play. Of course, he's James Harden. Like, he can drop 100 points. He's in play. Do I like anybody else? Maybe Clint Capella, maybe some Ryan Anderson to kind of shoot the lights out. I don't really like Trevor Ariza that much, but if I'd be leaning more towards snagging a one-off or maybe 2 with Butler and Wade from the Chicago side and just leaving Houston to do what they want to do. Next game we're going to talk about is going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder at home against the Memphis Grizzlies. This is a surprising point differential. The total is low. One of the lower totals on the slate. 203.5 is the point total. Now, Oklahoma City Thunder is giving up a point and a half to the Memphis Grizzlies. So, I've got a guy at 11.5K who I know has 80-point upside in a minus matchup at home with a very close point spread, but still he's being favored. I think we can play Russell Westbrook tomorrow. I really think we can. I kind of like him tomorrow, especially if the value that we feel comfortable with opens up later on in the day, where we still feel like we can still, get that solid return on those lower priced players. I think you can definitely look to Russell Westbrook tomorrow. Mike Conley is in play on the other side of the ball. Back to Oklahoma City because we got to talk about their bigs. We know that they're depleted in the front court. This is a depleted front court. So when you have a situation like that, there's only so many rebounds to go around. And if there's no dudes for the rebounds to go around to, who are they going to go around to? We know Russell Westbrook is going to try to grab 10. Who's going to get the rest? I like Steven Adams tomorrow. I think he's a really nice double-double at a very low price. I like him tomorrow. Marcus All is also in play for me as well. He's in play. Now, he's not one of my favorite center players on the board, but he's a very good, very talented guy. If this game stays close and he sees 30-some-odd minutes, he can definitely crush value for you. Mike Conley, I feel the same way about him. Tony Allen may be the one guarding Vic Oladipo tomorrow. So that means he's going to see a fair amount of defensive usage, which I really like that play. When I get defensive special guys that their specialty is to play defense, are going to be on other guys that are high usage. I like that because I mean they're going to be on the floor a lot. And if they play really good defense, they're going to get some steals, maybe a few rebounds, maybe a tip back, point back, stuff like that. So I think we can definitely look to Tony Allen tomorrow at that price point he's at. Next game I'm going to talk about is the Milwaukee Bucks going to Denver to take on the Nuggets. There is no point total yet for this game because we're dealing with so many injuries on the Denver Nuggets side. We just saw Moody is questionable. We saw Jokic is questionable. Fareed has injury concerns. So there's a ton of guys that could be out for the Denver side. And for that reason, I'm not going to sift through all of that, at this point. I'm going to wait till later in the day until some news comes out, some injury notes come out. I'm going to follow the Denver Nuggets beat writer to see exactly, what he feels is going to happen with the team on a slate like tonight. But on the Milwaukee side, I like Jabari and I like Giannis. And with the trade that we saw for Miles Plumlee, we've got to know who's going to be starting at center. Because if you giving me John Henson, a guy who was damn near approaching 6K early in the season, if you give me John Henson that's going to be starting this game at minimum salary, I'll fire his ass up. Now, if you give me Greg Monroe, who's going to start this game and probably see 30-some-odd minutes at his price point, I kind of like him a little bit too. Next game I'm going to talk about is the Dallas Mavericks going to Portland to take on the Trailblazers. This is a 207-point total, a lot lower than you would expect it to be for one of those late-night West Coast games. 4.5 points is the spread going in favor of the Dallas Mavericks. So that means the Portland Trailblazers are a home favorite. I like guys at home that are favored in big point totals. So 2 out of 3 hits on this one. CJ McCollum is favored at home. I like those two aspects, but the point total is only 207 points. So that's going to have me kind of squeamish to go too deep on the Portland side in this game. I'm going to pick, throughout the day, I'm going to be tossing and turning. I'm going to pick who I like between CJ McCollum and Dame Lillard. I'm going to have one of those guys in quite a few rosters tomorrow. Need that late night hammer. The guy's probably going to have a little bit less ownership because the games are later. And people like to see their money now. People want to, the lineups lock at 7. People want to know that they've won $50,000 by 9 o'clock. And that's why we don't see, the same ownership for the same guys when they're playing later slates. Some of that and matchup definitely has a lot to do with it. Dallas Mavericks side, player I really like is Seth Curry, man. Just been balling out lately. He's just been balling out, playing very good basketball. I think we can look to him tomorrow. Don't like Wesley Matthews very much. If Yogi Ferrell gets to start and we don't see Darren Williams, you can definitely fire him up. The price on him is about, 5.1. We need him to score 33 DraftKings points. That's very doable for him. I'm not interested in Dirk Nowitzki at all. Solid measure. You can go ahead and chase those points again. I'm not fucking with that. This slate is a really good slate, man. And if we, stick to some sweatshop laws Also, use our core four roster building strategy. Develop your own core four from your player pool, and stick to that. Have many different variations of that in your lineups. If you're running 4 or 5 lineups, do that. I think you can have a really good night. The last game on the slate, and where my favorite hammer is probably going to come from, I won't tell you who it is until tomorrow. It's coming from the Phoenix Suns and the Sacramento Kings game. This is a 217 point total, with the Sacramento Kings being the home favorite. How's that for a change? They're giving up 4.5 points to the Suns. And, Bledsoe automatically sticks out to me. I like him. Of course, we talked about Carsyn already, with so many injuries to the Sacramento backcourt, as well as, Rudy Gay's out for the year. This team is dealing with a ton of injuries right now. And healthy bodies get minutes, and minutes get money. So I definitely think Carlson is a nice way to go in this game. 5.3K is the salary. Not high on him at all. I definitely like him tomorrow. I think Bookie is in play, of course. He's at 10.9, so you're going to need one of those boogie games, one of those big 65-point boogie games in order to return value. I think it's very doable. The ownership is probably going to be lower on him. Like I said, it's going to be a later game. This is the late night hammer game, the last game on the slate. We can look to Eric Bledsoe on the other side. Definitely, dude's been balling out of control, playing very hot lately. Coming off a 56-point game against his former team, the LA Clippers. I like him against the Sacramento Kings. We can definitely look to Tyson Chandler in this game. He can wreak havoc on the boards. Is he going to score a ton of points? Probably not. But I mean, this is easily a double-digit rebounding game for Tyson Chandler. I think he can get that fairly quickly. Now, the one concern I do have is Boogie being so active in the paint. This dude leads the league in people fouling him. Like, he draws, out of all the bigs in the league, he draws the most fouls. Like, he does. He just does. Cats hack the shit out of him all the time. And I think that may be the only concern that I would have when it comes to rostering Tyson Chandler tomorrow. And for that, I'm going to have a couple lines with Chandler, and I'm going to have Alex Lynn in there too, because he is so very cheap. And if we see some early foul trouble for Tyson Chandler, that could bode very well for a point per minute monster like Alex Lynn. Also, Harrison Barnes is not a player that I like very much. Al-Farouq Aminu coming off of the bench kind of worries me. I like him more when he's starting. Evan Turner has been getting a start lately. I don't like him very much, but I mean, I guess you could definitely give him a play because he's only 4.8K. That's not a terribly high price on him. And once Al-Farouq does get out there, he does put up quality minutes. So there's a lot of twists and turns to that Portland game. There's a lot of twists and turns to that Portland game. But back to the Sacramento and Phoenix game. Let's go ahead and close the show out. And Marcus Chris, not a player that I'm particularly interested in. He definitely can be a decent play, but I think the play off of the bench in this game is going to be PJ Tucker. I really like PJ Tucker. I think he's going to be a really nice play. A double-double, can actually shoot a three-point shot. So you can look forward to rostering him tomorrow. TJ Warren does deserve consideration. Who's going to guard him? Who's going to guard these guys on the wing for the Sacramento Kings? We're looking at Matt Barnes, solid but not a overly great defender. So there's a lot of goodness in that last game, man. I think a lot of cats are going to score really nice scores in that game. So I'll be looking to that as I set up my late night hammers. This has been your DFS Jerusalem. Thank you, man. I appreciate you so much for everything you do for the sweatshop. This has become, like a job for me, another job for me, and I appreciate that because good jobs are hard to come by. And I've got one of the best jobs in the world. I get to talk basketball with my family while making a little money along the way and helping you to make some too. If you'd like to support the show even further than you already are, box, click it, let it take you where it has to go. Also, you can become a full-fledged member of the DFS Sweatshop if you go to www.dfssweatshop.com. You register upon your paid subscription. I will usher you into the VIP Facebook area where you can chop it up with some of the best minds in DFS. You will get our Core 4 roster building strategy. You're going to see the cheat sheets, the tutorials, the DVPs, the rankings, everything that we have to offer you. But first and foremost, the most important thing is you're going to be on the ground floor of a movement. This is a movement. This is crazy what we're doing. This is crazy what we're doing, and I love every minute of it. I'm so happy to be a part of it. If something happened to me, the shit's still gonna go on. That's what I think. So, y'all have a very profitable and wonderful Friday.
This has been your DFS Jerusalem. The number one thing that I would implore you to do as you're in the sweatshop and in your daily lives, go out and you keep it 300.